Hello and welcome to today's NinjaTrader ecosystem event with Chad Nash of Nash Technologies. My name is Tiffany and I am a platform representative at NinjaTrader. Before we start the webinar, I have a few housekeeping notes. At the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the chat icon. Clicking on it will open the chat window so you can ask questions during today's session. Also, please let me know if you can hear and see the presentation by entering a Y into the chat window now. Thank you all for confirming that. Secondly, this webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed to the NinjaTrader brokerage using the phone number and email that I provided in the room. Lastly, if you're new to NinjaTrader, please make sure you sign up for your free NinjaTrader demo with real-time market data. Our platform is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. You can get your free demo account by following the link provided in the room. Before I turn the mic over to Chad, it is important to understand that futures, foreign currency, and options trading contain substantial risks and not suitable for every investor. It is possible to lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. For more information or for a copy of the full CFTC risk disclosure, please follow the following link in the room. Also, please remember that these training sessions are not a solicitation nor recommendation, but simply educational in nature. Thanks again for joining us today. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader webinar room, Chad Nash of Nash Technologies. Take it away, Nash.
All right, thank you. Let me just get set up here. I need to start sharing. Let's see. 1 second, everyone. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Hopefully.
I can see it.
All right, awesome. So we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Happy 2022. It's already been a great kickoff to the year, I think. We are ready to keep going. Thanks again for NinjaTrader and everybody for joining today. Today's presentation and webinar is going to be on creative setups, mostly for algo-driven setups, but kind of like thinking outside the box and kind of maybe implementing some different types of strategies and kind of combining some and kind of just opening our minds to different options. So kind of a creative session, and we're going to cover a couple different setups, and then we'll kind of go through some various integration options that you might want to consider integrating into your existing setups. So as we get started here, let me make sure this is moving. Our disclaimer as well. I know that they posted the disclaimer and went through things, but this is for educational purposes only. Future stocks, spot currency, trading have large potential rewards, but also potential risk. So for sure, think of this as educational only. For everything we're going to demonstrate today, and don't ever trade with money you can't afford to lose. You can find our disclaimer on our website as well, and just an additional disclaimer with NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is a registered trademark of NinjaTrader Group LLC. Nash Tech. Anything we're going to discuss today, we are not directly affiliated with NinjaTrader in any way. We are a third-party vendor. We are proud to be a vendor, and we build exclusively for NinjaTrader, not other frameworks like other vendors do. So we're proud to be a third-party vendor, but we're not directly affiliated with them. So just a little bit of background. I'll go through this pretty quickly, but I've been in software development for really 25 plus years, but 20 plus years in .NET C#, which is really what a lot of NinjaTrader is built on top of. All the add-ons is built on that. It's one of the reasons I love working with NinjaTrader. I'm also the president and CEO of Data Springs Incorporated. That is exclusively, it's unrelated to trading completely. It's just software. We're a smaller software company based in Southern California. And like I said, we've been doing .NET development for quite a while now. Personally, I'm also an author. You can find my book, The Lion in the Cubicle, on Amazon. And I've been featured in several publications over the years, mostly related to travel and software type things, scuba diving. We have a scuba diving app, lots of different other small businesses, but featured in Forbes, Huffington Post, and a few others. So I'm personally, just to go into my life a little bit, I've traveled 88 countries. That's when I really started wanting to get into trading. So I'm always wanting to be, on the go. And in order to be able to do that, you can't always be at a trading desk. That's one of the reasons why I like algo driven trading. Love scuba diving, sailing, things like that. I'm a captain certified for yachts and charters and all that fun stuff. But I do all of that fun stuff with trading. So that's why I love the algo trading and being a serial entrepreneur. I trade cryptos, futures, equities. Most of my trading is in combination. So usually it's a combination of algo and manual trading. And for equities, I trade exclusively with interactive brokers with the integration through NinjaTrader. I've worked quite a bit with different setups and integration options. And even though I love TD Ameritrade or Thinkorswim, I have to say that the integration is not quite where I would like it to be in comparison to interactive brokers. All right, so if you need to visit our website anytime, you can go to nashtech.xyz either during the webinar or later. Sometimes it's confusing. I know XYZ is not the most popular domain, but that's what it is. So at Nash Tech, we believe that algo trading is not just for Wall Street and the hedge funds, and we believe that you can be ahead of the game by not always manually trading and those setups where you feel like you're missing out on. If you can manually trade it, we believe you can always be in the position, even though you're not a big Wall Street firm, to be in algo trading setup with NinjaTrader and either your own custom bot or one of our integrated bots. So that's what we do. We started creating these bots for ourselves. I originally started trading on a Thinkorswim platform and realized with ThinkScript and some of those platforms that often you can't really get to an algo level, right? The on-demand of Thinkorswim it was cool, but you're never really able to enable it for live trading. And the back testing, to be honest, back testing is difficult in any software for accurate results. But I feel that we started building on top of NinjaTrader because of that reason. So basically the idea with any of our own bots that we offer or with custom bots is to basically, integrate, test, back test, simulator, and then, hopefully at some point in time when you feel comfortable for your own risk management, you go live. So today's topic with, creative trade setups, I really just kind of want to get everyone thinking outside of what they normally consider, a trade setup, so that, it's not just moving averages and candlestick patterns and it's bullish or bearish. We need to ask yourself if your algo strategy is only on a single instrument. What other types of instruments would it work on? Is it including things such as the time of day, maybe max profit and stop loss for a particular session? What other considerations? Maybe early exit options, depending on maybe multiple contracts. Just kind of opening the box to maybe even successful setups and how to integrate maybe more risk management in there and things like that. So as I said, we're going to go through 3 quick setups. This particular one is called Epic Follow. This is on our website with nashtech.xyz/follow. And this is one I like. It's an NinjaTrader strategy that measures an instrument's correlation to another instrument. And if a big move is made in the related instrument with little movement in the primary, it enters a position. There's various options in which direction it enters. You'll actually find this correlation indicator as part of the NinjaTrader core installation. So you don't necessarily need Epic Follow. Epic Follow, though, can use the NinjaTrader correlation indicator. And I'll give you some examples here of what's going on. In this particular case, you have PayPal in correlation with the MNQ. This is on a 5-minute chart. And who do you think is going to win this battle, right? You have an index that's likely, we're not seeing the MNQ at the moment on this chart, but we know that it's not in correlation. We don't need to see the chart of the MNQ. We know it's not in correlation with what's going on with PayPal. And likely not, we don't necessarily know. Of course, there could be tons of different news and who knows, but in some cases, when you have something going out of sync with what the index is going on, then it likely is going to follow the index. Always depends. Again, this is not any type of a sure thing, right? But if you trade a lot of equities over time, and it's like these days. I mean, look at today, right? What happened with equities? It's like you're going in a certain direction, everything's going well, and then once the index goes, by the time you would want to get out, it's already done, right? The move's done. If not, if anything, definitely don't get out, right? So this is just kind of an example. You could use this also with equity to equity in terms of following, right? So here we have correlation. You can see down here at the bottom, out of correlation from United. So basically, this is also looking for a major move in terms of the correlation indicator. So out of correlation, you have Delta going up while United's been going down. And the trigger, which would Epic follow, would then either algo trade or you can manually trade it as an indicator, would show you where to potentially enter there. Marriott and United would go here too. Sometimes these would, follow, if you've ever followed any equities like cruise lines or hotels, airlines, you're looking for major correlation differences and entering with who would maybe be the parent, right? Or the master instrument there. So it's a quick demo of Epic Follow. I like using it because you can use it for many different setups. It doesn't have to just be futures. It could be futures equities. It could be checking the VIX against the 10-year treasury note, or it could be checking the NASDAQ against maybe Bitcoin, right? If you follow any of these often, if there is a major move in one of those, sometimes I saw it once where Bitcoin was following Doji. I mean, that's a little scary, but that was kind of during the major hype with or Musk and all that stuff. So anyway, it's great you can also backtest on bar close, which we know is great too, in preference to maybe just on each tick or on price change, things like that. So this would be a hopefully type of ideal. It's going to be equity curve. Please do not look at any equity curves I show you today or any strategy analyzer results as anything but more of the grid of showing what kind of setups can create differences in an equity curve, right? This is not a very smooth. It's not too, it's not too far up and down either. It's not dropping and going way up. Sometimes you find that over time. This particular one is some old backtesting results dealing with the treasury note. If you remember back in last year, whenever the treasury yields would be jumping, it had a big impact on the NQ, or the other way around, right? So if there was a major move in the indexes, that could affect the treasury note. So in this particular case, it was the treasury note following the correlation with the NQ. So that's the first setup I wanted to go into, kind of get our brains thinking of how do we kind of integrate other instruments, not just a single instrument, but other instruments. And I think this is a really good time at this time to go into the next one. This is Epic Divergence. This is a custom bot that we've never released, and I don't know that we will release. We do a lot of custom development. It's a major part of our company. But I do want to kind of highlight it because it gets you thinking about very creative setups. I feel like this is a setup that isn't always necessarily out there, and it's dealing with arbitrage and dealing with divergence between two instruments of pretty much the same type of value. So Epic Divergence is a NinjaTrader arbitrage strategy that minimizes, or let's say helps minimize, the risk of trading by entering in opposite directions of equally related instruments when that divergence becomes significant enough that you expect them to eventually come back into correlation. So what does that mean? Well, you could trade this with crude oil in different months, different contracts. You could trade this with futures and any type of spreads where you might be having the MNQ for a March contract versus a June contract. And all of a sudden, when there's a significant change in these setups between the two, you can go long one and you go short the other. It's an interesting setup because what you're really trying to do, you're not going for big gains here or big losses. Your goal here is to basically squeeze out the dollars that you can get and the money from this setup. So the chart's a little crazy, but the whole goal here is to minimize the risk as much as possible. You're never going to minimize risk completely, of course, right? So but this goal is not to make really big on one side or the other, right? And if it's done properly, hopefully you achieve those results. So right here, you can't see at the top, but this is actually BTC USDT on a non-perpetual. It's a contract for September. If you look down at the bottom in the correlation, or I'm sorry, the epic divergence indicator, you have BTC USD September, and you're integrating that with the other chart here, BTC USD perpetual. So you have a 3-minute chart, and you have basically when the divergence, you see that coming in down here. There's a couple different ways to measure divergence in the indicator. You could do it with the spread, you could do it with EMAs of the spread between the open and bid and ask from one instrument to the other. So you're eventually closing out when you're back in sync again, right? So you're going long one, you're going short the other when you're in that same sort of setup, and then you're moving along and exiting both positions at the exact same time. It's very critical to exit both positions at the same time with this kind of setup, right? Because even one more bar, you're not going to get any type of results you would hope to achieve with this, right? So it's a major condition on this. But look at the difference in the equity curve of what would be a hopeful equity curve in a perfect world, right? So again, do not look at these as actual results. Extra disclaimer on this, but you can see the difference in these equity curves by squeezing out not major money either. You're talking small amounts of money, but hopefully, and depending on a lot of other factors like commissions, you're able to have a more a slope that's not so jagged. It's not jumping up and going down, and hopefully that's helping with the risk a little bit. Again, you're always going to be winning one and losing the other. So it's always going to be a 50-50 type setup in this because you're short one, you're long the other. Sometimes there can be a lot of time, a lot of different setups where this happens. So commissions become a big piece. Exiting properly, having a system that's going to be able to handle, no delays and not handling too many instruments at one time. So again, here's another slope. This would be ideal in a perfect world, right? We've seen equity curves. You don't see things like this smooth. And this is why I say that this is one of the more creative setups, right? It's not something you see. You're not going for a home run on this type of stuff. You're taking pieces. So some other pieces that are important here to keep in mind is you do need a lot of capital for something like this because you're squeezing out smaller amounts of money. And so in order to do that, you need to have some substantial capital more in comparison to other setups. Not huge, but in comparison to other setups. And commissions become very important. You got 2 entries and 2 exits each time, right? So suddenly that becomes a major factor too. I'll definitely answer a bunch of other questions as I see them coming in the chat window. We got about 10 more minutes before we'll get to questions, but keep them coming in there. We'll go through them. And again, with this type of setup, the delay and the lag bugs, you definitely risk it, right? Like if you end up going to lunch and you end up, a stop loss hits at the same time it exits the other position, or you stay in a position, this whole setup is done, right? You might be okay and you may not. It's definitely a risk there. So For sure keep that in mind. All right, we will get into setup number 3. A friend suggested this many years ago. He traded crude oil a lot with this type of setup, a little bit different. And it was an algo, and it was for sure. It was more of a daily chart, but basically, you look for high volume, and you move based on that volume. So epic volume is a NinjaTrader strategy. It focuses on a significant volume and enters based on various conditions, right? So trend or trend reversal, many different options for what you're doing. Here's just a very basic example of the NQ on a 3-minute chart. And what we're doing in this case is we're looking at the current trend. We see a significant, what does that volume mean? It's telling us that there's some commitment or something's going on, right? We don't know what's going on, but something bigger, than average is going on. And in this particular case, the settings set it to bid at the white line from that volume, right? So if this were to enter, this is the indicator, not the strategy only. I saw a few questions coming in asking if this is all algo driven. And to answer that just real quick, yes, everything we do can be indicator and also has the full algo capability. So for sure. In this particular case, it would have entered where the white line, the price met that line. It was set to enter at the low of where the high volume bar started. It would not have entered on this bar because the price never went that low, but on the next bar, it had a high enough volume to have triggered that. And then you can set wherever the entry is at in the strategy or the indicator. It could be at the middle of the bar. It could be at the high. You could have went short depending on the settings. Each settings are different, right? So in this particular case, it's join the party, which means we're going in the direction of where the range went. We're looking for a 400% increase in the volume, and we're going to put our entry price at the low of the bar. Right now, this is only showing the indicator piece. When it comes to strategies, it's a whole lot of more options, right? Entry, exit, profit target, stop loss. I can highlight and show you guys some of those, maybe certain times only, multiple entry, things like that. So again, just kind of going back to these equity curve differences, this is not going to be the same type of, you're looking for something, on a larger scale would be a goal, would be what normally happens for that instrument over time. Definitely not any type of equity curve that's going to be smooth whatsoever in these types of things, because man, when there's that much movement, that's also a big price movement usually too. And if you're not in the right direction of that price movement, not going to go so well. So just to kind of move forward a little bit with what we do with our own software in these setups, we have free trials on our website at nashtech.xyz/trial. And we suggest you run the optimizer with these trials against best performing equities, your futures, instruments, things that you like to trade on normally. See how they work for you. See if you like the setups. Everything's basically geared towards algo completely in terms of being able to enable it for algo trading. We do have buttons to disable it at any time. We have settings like enable bot on startup or not, or allow bot to enter but not exit, things like that. Give it a go, because you don't necessarily need to be a programmer in any sense. You don't need to know anything about code necessarily. That's kind of how we built all of our indicators. But you do want to be able to have some time. It takes time to be able to adjust the settings, watch it trading on a market replay versus watching it on a live sim account versus live accounts. It's always going to be different results. We do have a special offer for everyone on the webinar today. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. We only do something of this significance once a year, but it's a 50% discount on our lifetime license. And we also have a discount for anyone looking for custom programming, things like that. So you can get this discount when you go and check out on our website and use code NTWebinar 2022. So this is on the lifetime license only, and it's a full 50%. The lifetime license also includes additional setups we come up with, changes, updates to, where it's needed with NinjaTrader. It's lifetime, right? So In addition, we offer a second offer here with your own custom bot and premium support hours at 50% off. It's a minimum of 10 hours purchase, and it's limited to the first 3 clients who reach out to us through the contact form on our website. You cannot get the discount with the link specifically there. You would have to use the contact form, and we'll be basing that on who reaches out to us first and who wants to take advantage of that with a minimum of 10 hours. So with that, let me just show you our website again real quick, and then we will switch over to questions and things like that. You can see all of our different setups. I only went through a couple basics today, and some of those were more custom, but you can find all of these on go through our website, go to NinjaTrader, click Epic Collection, or you can go to the individual ones. Within there, you can see screenshots. I'll just run through a list real quick. Epic Bid basically has an ongoing bid, just kind of follows a trend with really low bids. So if something were to really drop, it just has an ongoing bid. It's a great setup. Epic Bounce is looking for really long topping tails, bottoming tails, and basically from those entering based in the direction of where the buyers came in or the sellers came in, things like that. Let me see more. Just run through these. I got a few more minutes, and then we'll move on to questions. Epic Checklist is fun because it kind of adds a value to every single type of setup. So maybe you give 5 points if the EMA is over the 200, but you also want to get 15 points if it's also above over the 50 EMA, right? And then you want to maybe if it has a bullish candlestick pattern, you want to give it 20 points, which equals a total that would generate the entry. Epic Follow, I just went over with you guys. Epic Open is based on kind of pre-market gaps, where they're going with that. Epic Profits, there's a trader out there on Live Traders who has a lot of videos on 3-bar plays. It's basically kind of like Epic Volume. You have significant volume, a pause bar, and then it would enter based on the significance with that. For many of these setups, we also have videos on how to use them, how to set up change the settings. These are all on YouTube, and a lot of different settings in here, right? Like that's why this really takes time to work with, and not necessarily programming knowledge, but you really want to know like what's the real volume spike that's going to matter, right? And how many bars are you going to look back on a trend, or how much of a range and price do you want to see? Do you want to see, before you would initiate? So don't need programming skills, but you do need to spend time with these setups. So this is definitely not something you just completely install and now you're up and running right away. Epic Squeeze is based on a TTM squeeze it's more in the options if you're familiar with that setup. And again, there's videos for all of these, so you can go check these out. Hopefully you will enjoy these, be able to use them in different trades. Epic U-turn is a pattern with 2 significant engulfing bars, and that usually is either a reversal or a continuation. So you might wait to see where it goes, but if you get a visual of that there, you get the idea. And anything else I want to highlight? I think that's it for the moment. So if you want to go check things out, Epic VWAP follows VWAP and kind of trades against that. If you want to take advantage of that promo, you can come to our website, choose the lifetime license, enter the promo code, which was NT webinar 2, and you'll get the discount there. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the questions that are coming to me. So where should we start? Wow, we have a lot. Beer party, that would be nice. Let's see what else. We got Ryan here. We got a lot of good people here. Website, nashtech.xyz. A lot of our setups do work with Rinco, William. That does. I use the Neo Rinco size. The brick size can be changed, of course. That's all based on your different settings, but several of ours do work well with Rinco. Several of them don't work at all with it. We have one that is part of the collection. It's not listed on the website. It's more of a trending indicator, but I really like using that one with Rinco. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing, it's as far as it being a bot or not. I mean, it's a bot when you're enabled and everything's enabled. It's running, right? It's not. We have things that are indicators or strategies, but when the strategy is up and running, it's a fully automated bot. You can walk away and maybe lose all your money, right? Maybe you do okay, but there's definitely no promises with that. But as far as being automated, yes, it's very automated. Would there be an advantage to run all the bots at the same time? If you're trying to do something in that category, Joe, I would suggest maybe using the Epic checklist, where you could say, I want to see, so many points if the Epic bounce were to fire at the same time as Epic profits, so things like that. Dave, to answer your question, you get the discount to purchase the collection. You get the discount by using the promo code. If you're trying to purchase support hours or premium consulting hours, programming hours, you just need to reach out to us and let us know you were on the webinar. We're only going to give that to the first 3 people that are looking to purchase time. What time frame are you trading? Several of our setups, I don't know. I like to look at what they test best with, but I would noticed we offer 2 different time settings with all of our strategies. So what I mean by that is, maybe you want to trade 9 to 11, and then you also want to trade 2 to 2:45, right? So there's 2 different time settings that's included with all of our strategies, along with maximum session profit targets, which will then disable the strategy, maximum session stop losses, which will disable the strategy, things like that. Yep, Frank, to answer your question with the bots, they also trade on micros. Anything NinjaTrader is trading with, as far as I know, it trades with. If you can trade it manually or with ChartTrader, you can definitely trade it with our bots. Micros are great. Sometimes the commissions on those, that's a separate piece. You'd have the same thing with manual trading, but it does trade micros well. Let's see. Edenridge, Bollinger Bands and RSI and candles. I think that would be Epic checklist too. Maybe you could have certain candlestick patterns, RSI. I know we use Bollinger Bands with Epic Squeeze, because Epic Squeeze is based on Bollinger Bands, Keltner channels, and momentum. Let's see, Dave, I tried to enter the code and no discount. Maybe shoot a quick email to us or let us know what browser you're using, but we can definitely get you the discount. That promo is going to be good all throughout the rest of the day. If there's any problems on the shopping cart or anything, we can fix that. And let us know too if you're trying to pay with credit card or PayPal. Sal, to answer your question on recent templates, yes, we try to maintain a good list of templates, and we have a list of those. Actually, if you go to nashtech.xyz/templates, you will find those and a video on how to get those installed. We like to do our own back testing with a lot of these setups and strategy analyzer, and then we will save whatever templates come out. If there's instruments that you're not finding templates for, then let us know. Say, oh, I trade silver. What's the best templates for Epic Bounce? Or I'm wanting to trade, micro Ethereum. What's the best templates? And we will. Yes, the free trial, Scott, lasts for 14 days. And that includes everything within the Epic collection. David, it was on our support here. Let's see, purchase page, return this error. Sale amount must be greater than 0. We will research that, Gary, and see what's going on for you there. Yes, Richard, if you go to nashtech.xyz/trial, you will basically from there be able to download the trial for any of these. Dimitri, do you trade NQ, I trade NQ and ES. I have traded gold and crude oil, but I don't on a regular basis. Any other questions before I lose my voice? Thanks again, guys. I'm hoping you guys have a good 2022. William, can I do a trial before buying at 369? Yes, just message me personally or contact us, but this is really this offer. It's only once a year. We would not be able to have much longer. I would go check it out right away. We could extend that maybe 24 hours or something, but it's 50% off. It's a lifetime license. Yeah. Thanks, Gary, for letting us know. We'll see what happened with Visa. Epic Divergence is custom, and it's just really coded for some different customers. So we haven't released it yet. We might if we have enough interest. But it's a pretty custom setup for what we've done. And the main reason I was highlighting it today was more or less just to kind of get everyone thinking of cool, creative setups. That's what I was hoping to get out of this, is to kind of like go to bed and think, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about shorting one instrument and going long another instrument, the same sort of thing. Yes, Ryan, the code that you were wanting was NT Webinar 2022. Yes, and Frank, you get all the new algos in the future, any new setup. We've actually posted a few even new ones, and it's kind of in a private forum. William, yes, it's 369 for all of them, including what's in the future. That's why I can't even offer that type of like longevity with the trial too far out, William, because this is like lifetime new versions of the collection, new versions. I mean, it's unlimited for that kind of license, right? So if we have 5 years from now, 10 other bots completely different, you get those too. So that's good. Eden Ridge, I don't personally trade Forex pairs, but we do have several clients who trade them with our bots. I can put you in touch with some of them, maybe if I ask them, if I know that they do trade Forex. I do not personally trade Forex, so I don't know. Anything else? What are we at time-wise, Tiffany? Are we good? Let's see.
You're good on time, about 8 more minutes.
Awesome. So discount code is NT Webinar 2022. Yeah. As far as just a few other links that might be valuable to you guys, let me just change the chat here. If you go to nashtech.xyz/yourbot, that would be if you're looking for something custom. That's not personally me there, although I would like it to be. I want that shirt even. So if you're looking for this, this is for custom development. You can go ahead and fill out a form below to have one of our team developers reach out to you, project managers. You have nashtech.xyz/license, which is going to highlight a video. It's going to show you how to license a product in NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader, my big face there. NinjaTrader has, pretty much standard licensing set up in there. You give us your machine ID, but if you know how to do it, that's how you do that. If you're looking just for individual products, if you start to check things out, Ryan, let's see what's going on. We'll check the discount. We will see if it's a browser. If you're having any problems buying it though, let me just reach out to us on the contact page up here. Let us know. We'll be getting back. We're working all this afternoon and later in the evening. So we will get back to you immediately with how to purchase that. For anyone wanting it immediately and not receiving the discount, you can go to nashtech.xyz/payment. Make a payment here today by end of day for that total amount that would be 50% off. Choose PayPal or credit card, and we will, just put something in the comments here that says, NT webinar discount lifetime license, and we will process these first immediately if we're trying to figure out what's happening with some browsers or PayPal or credit card, things like that. Anything else? /templates is going to give you some information on how to download and install different templates. This can be helpful so you're not having to reinvent the wheel all the time with what's best with MNQ, what's best with NQ, what's best with this can basically help save you time. We also have a great blog if you guys are looking for, tips and tricks, especially with Strategy Analyzer. We have a significant amount of time we've spent on that. And Strategy Analyzer tips with NinjaTrader, we'll go in tons of tips that'll be very helpful. Did you know you can quickly type in just like this in NinjaTrader instead of having to expand it? Did you know how to, the difference between tick replay? NinjaTrader has blogs and things on all of this, but at the same time, you might find these helpful while you're testing. Let's see, NinjaTraders. Yes, a lot of our strategies, Gary, do integrate. In fact, I'd say 70–80% integrate with ATM strategies as well. The only problem you're going to have with ATM strategies and any strategy within NinjaTrader is that you're never going to be able to get back testing results. And that's okay. But that's just kind of like what's going to happen, right? So can you integrate the setup with your ATM strategy? ATMs, absolutely. And it has an option for that, but you won't be able to back test how that would play out. Do we have anything focusing? I know that we always test against RTY, Casey, but I don't know that we have focused on that. Joe, to answer your question on hourly development, that depends on the block of hours you purchase from us. So if you are purchasing 10 hours, it's at a rate of 140. And if you're only needing a couple, it's at a higher rate, right? So basically, if you're wanting 20 plus hours, you're getting a rate of 110. It would be 50% off for today only for the first 3 customers. If you go something really crazy and purchase a block of 50, you are a favorite customer and you get an even bigger discount. Steve, I cannot discuss specific profits with, I would say I would tend to go towards no on the profit stuff, right? Because we never offer any promises, any guarantees. And look at markets change all the time. Whatever setup you have working might not be working the very next day. So we love algo trading, but can't discuss really any, and definitely can't promise any types of profits. So when it comes to those kind of questions, I usually say plan for a loss because it's just better, especially disclaimer wise. Do you trade our own algos? Yeah, Gary, that's why we created these, and we constantly are working on them. We're tweaking them for ourselves too, right? That's how we got started with this. We're definitely an eat our own kind of dog food type development. We always have been. So when we want something developed, we develop it for ourselves. And then later on, when we can release it, or if it's to a point where we feel like it's good. The reason I like that too, Gary, is because sometimes that also leads us to a lot of other things like stop losses we didn't know about, or, some customer might say, oh, hey, can you set up a stop loss break even if it gets to so much, right? After so many bars. Okay, we can add that. And someone else might say, oh, hey, can you say, I want to wait 10 bars before re-entry from the last exit, right? Oh, okay, we can add that in, right? So we get a lot of ideas from our customers as well. And we're trading with it ourselves too. I would say ourselves foremost, to be honest. Like I'm constantly always looking at how to improve our algos. Okay, with that, I will turn it back over. I want to say thank you again to all you guys. I've let you guys know how to contact us, how to purchase things. And I want to say thank you again to NinjaTrader. It's a great opportunity. I love what they've done with the ecosystem and how they engage with clients. It's kind of great to be, actually, I'm based in Denver now, and I'm only 2 blocks from their office. I know they haven't been back since COVID, but it's kind of funny I go out and go walk along Cherry Creek, and I always look at their office and it gives me a smile. So I want to give them a thanks and shout out, and appreciate all you guys joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, Chad, for taking the time to share with us today. Everyone in attendance will receive an on-demand recording of today's event, so just keep an eye open for that email over the next couple days. If you enjoyed today's session, we hope you'll join us for future webinars. We would like to remind you the information provided in this was of Nash Technologies and not of NinjaTrader. All information was for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from all of us in NinjaTrader ecosystem. And thank you so much again, Chad.